So thank you for coming out. We wanted to get a chance to see you. We are running the tape. We're trying to make sure that we touch every hand that we can and speak to every person, because you don't have to turn on the news to see how tough things are. We're $34 trillion in debt. We're having to borrow money just to make our interest payments. China owns some of that debt. And I would love to tell you that Joe Biden did that to us. But I have always spoken in hard truths, and I'm going to do that with you today. Donald Trump and our Republicans did that to us too. You go back and look at that $2.2 trillion COVID stimulus bill that they passed with no accountability, that expanded welfare, that now, hey Eli, that has now given us 80 million Americans on Medicaid, 42 million Americans on food stamps. That's a third of our country. And did Republicans try and make it right? Nope, they followed the tone of Trump and expanded out and opened up earmarks and pet projects for the first time in 10 years, pushing through 7,000 of them last year. Now, in the 2024 appropriations budget, Republicans put in $7.4 billion worth of pet projects and earmarks. Democrats put in $2.8 billion. Now you tell me who the big spenders are. All while 1 in 6 American families can't afford their utility bill. 60% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. 50% of American families can't afford diapers. Something's got to give. Don't you think it's finally time we had an accountant in the White House? So how do we fix the economy? The first thing we do is we start by clawing back the $100 billion of unspent COVID dollars that are still sitting out there. Instead of 87,000 IRS agents going after middle America, we should go after the hundreds of billions of dollars of COVID fraud. 1 out of every $7 was spent fraudulently. If 8% of our budget is interest, quit borrowing. Cut up the credit cards. You have to balance a budget every day. I had to balance a budget as governor. Why is Congress the only group that refuses to balance a budget? We'll stop the spending, we'll stop the borrowing, we'll eliminate their pet projects, and I'll veto any spending bill that doesn't take us back to pre-COVID levels. That will save us trillions. And then we're going to take as many federal programs as we can and send it down to the state levels. That will dramatically reduce the size of the federal government, but it will empower people on the ground. Think education, think healthcare, think welfare, think mental health. If we cut the strings and send the resources down, then you can cater it where it's closest to the people instead of having Washington bureaucrats handle that. And then we have to open up the middle class. We're watching the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. We need to open up the middle class by cutting taxes for the middle class and simplifying the brackets. We'll eliminate the federal gas and diesel tax in this country, and we will make small business tax cuts permanent. Small businesses are the heartbeat of our economy. We need to start acting like it. Now, in talking about Congress has one job, just one job, and that's to give us a budget on time. I don't know if you turned on the TV this week, but they're having a deadlock again. But what I'll tell you is, if that's their one job, do you know they've only given us a budget on time 4 times in 40 years? 4 times in 40 years. You know what I say about that? When I'm president, if they don't give us a budget on time, they don't get paid, period.